And we are officially back.
What's up?
It's the Slightly Average Guys podcast. It's only been 341 days since we last did any type of broadcast, any type of discussion, any type of shenanigans. I don't know if that's the actual date. I know it was like January 11th. Somebody do a quick back search on the number of dates that is.
It can't be right.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay, good.
20 days minus a year.
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's a little false. But yeah, I think we're excited to be back. We got a new layout. We got a new look. We got a bunch of cool stuff. Oh, look at that. Raj Dog coming in hot with
Roger's
the
watching. Yeah, I got the comments coming through. So it's officially live. We are officially back. Whether you're listening to it later on or whatever, you can always come join us. We're going to do it once a month is the recording that we're going to do, but it's got to be broken up. We're going to take that one recording, break that up into 3 or 4 different podcasts that are going to be produced out from the audio standpoint. So a little bit of a different, format for the live, but if you're listening after the fact, it's pretty much going to be the same for you, but all of those cut up ones will be about 15 minutes long. So it's been a while. So what have you guys been up to here? I feel like I can tell personally, I've missed it. Right? I texted you guys out of the blue. I was like, I think we need to do it again. We all three of us independently with each other, not all together, like said we wanted to do it again. So I was like, well, just text everybody. Let's see if we can make this shit happen at least once a month, right?
Yeah, it's definitely been a while, and I'm glad it's coming back because it was something fun to do. It was something outside of work. It was something that got you thinking about something else besides just work. And then after work, you just are hanging out, watching TV, playing video game, whatever you're doing. So for me, it's something different that gets you away from thinking about work, thinking about something else, talking to some guys, and just shooting the shit. So it's good to be back. It's been a long hiatus, that's for sure.
Andy, what about you?
I concur.
Oh, okay. You just concur. Well, Andy, I'm gonna bring it to you first.
Okay.
What is there any big life changes for you in the last let's say it was at least 9 months, 9 to 10 months that have happened? I don't think so. I think actually of the three of us, I think you're the calmest, coolest. Other than there's a ghost over your shoulder. watch that out. But yeah,
Freddie's here.
Oh yeah, that's underneath the Slightly Average Guys logo. But
yeah, not much, man. I mean, I guess the only thing that I've done in the past couple months, I started to work out and eat differently, I guess better.
What's up?
Mind-blowing experience of just how hard it is to eat healthy and how much to eat, all of that, how expensive all of that, really going through it. Other than that, still go to work, still have children. There's a wife somewhere. She works at nights now. So
I was gonna say your wife's actually in town. I don't remember if we talked about the last right. When you were she was a traveling nurse.
Flag.
Yeah, right? Yeah. She stopped doing that. She's still doing nurse school. So that's a couple. Let's see, next year I think she's done. Next summer, no, 2 summers. Anywho, so she works at the hospital, but she works at night now. So
okay. Nice. Ryan, what about you? I know you've had some life changes here.
Yeah.
I think you shaved your head. Is that what's different?
That is what's new. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And instead of gray glasses, I got darker gray glasses. So lots of stuff has changed. No, totally kidding. Been bald, still wearing the same glasses as before. But a lot has changed for me. And this is a big year for big old Dog over here, Rhino, as some people would say. I bought a house, so that's big. A little bit,
yeah, just a little,
just a little bit. Super awesome. Love the area. Love the house. Getting everything situated. We've only been in it just slightly more than a month and a half, maybe. So.
And you're sitting in a room that was the 3/4 of the size of your whole entire apartment before. So
we lived in a 650 square foot apartment, and we didn't move into some giant mansion. We moved into 1,040 square feet. But this sucker has 3 rooms. We only had 1 prior, and it looks a lot bigger. It feels a lot bigger. We got a massive backyard, so it's a lot of fun. A lot of I wouldn't say a lot of work so far because everything's kind of been done, which is nice. But you have those minor ins and outs of stuff that just you need to do. I got a yard. I love mowing. I got grass. I got grass in Arizona. This is great.
But it's more in your front yard than it is in your backyard. You got just you have a big
party
backyard
in the front.
Yeah,
but it's business in the back, and that's opposite.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah. I was gonna make a really inappropriate comment. I'm not, because there's not much grass on the field in the backyard.
There is not. So it's definitely heavy on the front. But again, that's one of our projects out there. We got to get going. We just got a patio set today, so I'm really looking forward to. Well, it's already put together. Honestly, just share some pictures. But I got my own office. I got my own room. There's nothing on the walls yet. But I did get this sweet light because I wanted something for some of my stream days. Whenever I do that. I got my own room. Corey has her own office / bedroom. So it is what it is, but she's at least got her own space. And we got our own master bedroom as well. So it's a lot of fun. But cool. Besides the house, we're getting married. This is not new news to the podcast, but we're obviously we're getting married in a couple months. It's October. We're getting married in 2 months and 2 days. So that's coming up quick. We just bought our wedding rings for each other. So did that yesterday. So super excited. I got mine straight off the shelf. They're like, hey, let me see if this fits. Perfect fit. They're just like, all right, you can take it home. So lots of things moving very quickly. Really excited, and more to come for sure as we just walked into this house. So
well, let's see. Those are all big things. Let's see for me. What's been going on with me? That I got less going on than you and more going on than Andy. Like I'm a bit, yeah. Andy's got like nothing that's changed. I've gone through the gamut of some. I'll be real honest. Some mental struggles, and mostly actually, to be honest, the last month, I've been pretty depressed and just not in the greatest of headspace. This week, I'm finally coming out of it. Trying to force myself to get up every single day to get back into working out. Andy, you said you would, started working out. It's amazing how much it helps, right? Like just focusing on something that's not being lazy all of the time. Really.
Well, cheers to getting back into the podcast for that one. That'll help.
Yes, exactly. And really, like when we were doing it nonstop, I think I felt in the best mental space possible, just because people underestimate the ability to just shoot the shit with people,
just talk.
Yeah, and we're doing it live in in front of everybody else, or recorded for those that are listening later. But it's just fun. Like I think one of the I was going back through and trying to review things, and we were trying to come up with a structure for moving forward and taking people's opinions where they have given them to us. If you have one, send it to slightlyaverageguys@gmail.com. But like one of the favorite ones that I went back and re-listened to that I felt like I wasn't just rambling like I am now is when I started talking about the 1 to 1 million challenge. And me and Andy recently talked to him about this last week. I think it was one of the first ones that we did where I just started cracking off this because it was like weird things that I was watching. This guy decided he was going to do a 1 to 1 million challenge and see if he could make $1 million from zero in a year's time. Which everybody said he was absolutely crazy. Cut to it, he did it in 16 to 18 months. So he actually did it in that amount of time, from things that he had no clue how to do all the way up, and just kept learning and doing it and stacking stuff. It was just nuts. But when I was talking about that, I was like, man, I had my juices flowing so much, and I'd started into things, and then life happened, right? So long story short, what I'm trying to say is I'm glad we're back. Glad I'm in a better space. I'm glad I'm starting to work out again. I look puffy on the screen because that's how I actually look in real life. Hopefully that'll go away soon. But we are going to do some of the best damn shows that you've ever listened to in your entire life. And if you don't think so, if you think that we're lying, Andy will come to your house and do a naked telegram. Just saying. Just putting it out there. It's now in the ether. It's in the world. That's actually happening. So it's that's what's happening. And
are we putting money on that? Because I'm not gonna lie, I'd like to see that.
Listen, I'll come over anytime.
All right, I'll just text you my address. I work from home, man. Anytime.
Perfect. Great way to introduce yourself to the neighbors.
We'll still have the most amazing podcast, but you can still come over and do it. What did you call it? A naked snammogram?
Oh my god! I think you just named it Shamamagram.
Snammogram.
Yeah, Schwangdanglergram. Anyway,
sure.
Yeah, I just think it'd be great, right? Like we're gonna be great. You're gonna be great. I don't. We probably should just rename the damn show because we're just slightly above average now. It's just always going to be above average, never below the bar, except for my jokes.
It was that big hiatus. You know, we're learning.
You got to come in with big pod energy. That's where we're coming. Okay, coming in with big pod energy.
Wow,
and really enjoying the. Never mind. So speaking of the big things that we've been going through and different stuff, I want to talk about, I mentioned some of the big challenges that I've been going through. I've been having trouble with my work. I'll be straight up honest. That's one of the reasons why I've, have some problems. But Ryan, as a new homeowner, right? You go into a new house, it's not a brand new house. You bought an older house, right? That had been recently remodeled,
New to me.
Exactly. Dude, the damn house is almost completely new on the inside. Almost, yeah. Nice. It's very, very nice. Much more modern than mine. And but we've been having some things happen here. Those things are called storms. Those storms are pretty, intense from the standpoint of I don't think it's ever rained this hard right in this area since I've lived here almost 10 years in this exact area. The other night, I thought the roof was blowing off my house. There was no wind. It was just downpouring that hard. Cut to like 2 days before that, it was blowing so hard I thought my roof was going to be ripped off. But what happened at your new place? How are you enjoying home ownership that you no longer can call a landlord?
I mean, it's fine. We had two big storms. One was just a massive haboob, which is a dust storm. Right. So dust storm, high winds, stupid high winds. That's where I had all my damage. The damage really came from there. It's an old roof that we have on our place. Insurance says 8 years old. Psych. There's 2 different colored shingles and 2 different types of shingles on my roof. Patchwork galore. So I had a bunch of shingles fly off my roof in spotted locations. So I went through the whole insurance thing and I had my hopes up because the guy I was talking to was like, obviously, we want to do what we want to do. Obviously. Yeah, bro, man to man, we want to replace your roof. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. First experience with insurance. This is awesome. Before I get my email about what I get, another storm comes in. Like you said, Ryan, 2 of the biggest storms in Arizona that I think I've ever seen. Haven't been out here too long, 7 years, but out of that, one of the hardest downpours I think I've ever seen, even from living in Indiana and Phoenix my entire life. Massive.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Like, you talking the one that was like
the second one?
Yeah. Yeah. That was not that long ago. That was like 4 days ago or something like that.
Yeah. It was last week.
Yeah. And what's weird is it woke us up at like 1 o'clock in the morning because there was like one loud boom from lightning and everything else. And you watch the radar and this thing literally is coming across the valley so fast and it is purple. I've never lived in Arizona and seen it purple. And this thing is hauling across so fast and it's hailing against our one window of our room decently. So I go out back and look, I'm like, holy crap, it's actually just raining. I'm like you, never seen that much water that intense and zero wind. I don't know how it was moving across the valley so fast because none of the trees were moving out here.
I had even more damage after that. Now it was pretty minimal, but I got my quote back from insurance on what they're going to give me. Good joke. Here's some fucking pocket change.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we're going to let you supersize your meal, but that's about it.
Yeah. So very disappointed at that, but I had even more damage. Again, pretty minimal, but it's on the backside of my roof now. So I got double whammied. I got freaking sandwiched by 2 storms and, hoping to see what I can do to get that replaced. But those storms were ridiculous.
So are you trying to say which one was worse, the first one or the second one?
If you're talking damage, the
Yes.
first one, the big Haboob, the dust storm.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. You got probably, two issues in the front and one in the back. I couldn't get that.
You set me up for that? Did you
Yes.
literally just set me up for that?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, the front was brutalized.
Wow. Looks like I'm going to someone's house because that was terrible. That was awful.
And the fact that he knew the punchline afterwards because he's been to my house and seen the pictures.
Yes.
Oh shit.
Got me.
Yeah.
Nailed me.
And you walked right into it with me. You know?
Oh, I
just
did.
appreciate it. All right. We're going to talk about two things next. One is both of these are going to be pretty quick, as quick as you can make it. Right. It's fantasy football season. Right. We're in the crux of it. So, 2 sentences. How are we doing? I'm gonna start with Andy.
2 sentences. How about 2 words? Absolute shit.
There you go. All right, great. Yes.
So.
Yes. Okay, Ryan, where are you at with fantasy football this year?
Are we doing 2 words or are we
No.
doing okay?
No. Short. First off, just where are you at?
Yep. Middle of the game. Going up against the last place guy this week. So that should be good. I should get a dub there. But overall, if I had to shorten it up into 1 sentence, 5 guys out of my draft out 1 week.
Oof.
Now, are
5
they hurt?
starters? Excuse me, starters.
Is it buys or are they hurt?
Not buys. Hurt.
Okay.
Jonathan Taylor out. Damian Harris out. James Conner out. Michael Thomas out. All these players out. I had literally 5. It was so bad I took a screenshot of it and sent it to our group. And then I traded Jonathan Taylor immediately afterwards.
The last couple times when we talked about it on the podcast, I've always not had the greatest success with it. Andy's usually pretty decent because he's plays so many damn leagues normally, so he's usually coming out. But me and Andy are playing in the same one league, and
nice.
It looks on paper like I'm doing okay because I'm 3-3, but like I'm like you, Ryan. Like somehow I'm making it to where I'm barely scratching by.
Yeah.
But I have so many people that are hurt, so many people that are out. That's just it's like everybody's like, okay, just on waiver wire, who can I pick up? And it's not doing great. Me and Andy played last week, right? And Andy didn't put somebody in. Okay, so he had a completely empty. I think it
on
was
purpose. I have checked out.
Yeah. I think he didn't have a tight end playing.
Yeah.
All right. I had everybody playing, but I'm playing like 3rd string people.
I hope you. Okay.
Wait. So we get to the final game, right? Which was Monday, right? The final game. We are within. I've got all my people played. I got 102.18. I don't even know how you get that far out in digits in the league that we're playing, but 102.
Must be playing Yahoo.
Yeah. I think no.
ESPN.
I think at 102.4. I had 102.4. Right. Andy missing a player. 1 player completely goose egged, and he's got one player to play that night. His odds of winning are in like 96% from what the ESPN app is saying that we should absolutely do. Right. He's got to earn like 0.35 and he's beating me. Nope, didn't happen. Didn't happen, and I ended up winning by like 0.2.
Wow,
that's how bad he's playing and how weird I'm just barely scratching by.
Yeah, so my mentality this season is I'm 100% relying on the other teams to dog shit when they play me, and that's what I've done out of my 3 wins. I have 3 wins. Hoping to get a 4th this week, but I'm currently 3-3. But I'm actually finally to make some moves. People are actually trading in our league this year, which is kind of nice to see.
That's good.
Even though, some of them are kind of through text and not just like, you got to spark the conversation somehow, right? So I understand, but there's actually trades this year, which is kind of nice to see.
Andy, other than the 2 sentences, I didn't give you time. Go ahead. Explain, how you're completely checked out this year.
It's so frustrating. Like, if I showed you my team, there's no way I should be 1 and whatever. And I mean, the week I won, I shouldn't have. So it's just nonsense. I mean, I have Josh Allen, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook. Nope. So probably week 2, like middle of Sunday, I was like, I'm done. I deleted the app. I was like, I don't even give a shit. So then I
did delete the app.
I deleted the app, but then I logged in
Okay.
on the web version to take out my tight end because he got hurt. Darren Waller got hurt. So then I was like, all right, I'm done. That's it. So I have not logged in. I think I have like 4 people on bye this week. So whoever's playing me will win.
I hope they lose.
Oh, could you imagine?
Could
like
you
3
imagine
players.
Yeah. So when you guys are doing fantasy, do you guys, and sorry, Ryan, I know you said this segment was going to be quick. Do you guys watch ESPN, like the fantasy shows that they have? NFL Fantasy Live, Fantasy Now?
I used to get like all into that, man. And, I do the mock drafts and I had all the software and all that stuff. And I had won probably 2 or 3 times in the history of playing. But I got to the point where I was in like 4 leagues and this is enough. I can't, because football became a job on Sunday. I'd have my laptop and all this stuff going. And finally, I just said, you know what? I typically smoke food on Sundays and just hang out and do nothing. Yeah. And I just was like, I'm done doing that. I just want to watch football and hang out. And
I definitely watch a couple of them along with some like random shows. I can't remember all of them. But again, now that I have a house, I have like other areas to go and work. So like I'm in my office right now. This is where I'm at 90% of the day. But during the day when I do go to the couch or the living room, I got a kitchen counter now, an island that I can sit on, and a kitchen table. I got a kitchen table. Yeah. I sit on there and I just throw these NFL shows on, whether it's fantasy or not, and pick up a lot of stuff from there because these guys do this every day, right? This is their job. So I kind of listened into some of the stuff. One of the stats that I found very interesting was Jonathan Taylor was traded 26% this year so far, which was that's crazy. That's a big number for a number 1 draft pick.
Yeah, it's like I said, it was a chore, man. Some of the software I had it as you pick. So I was so far into it as I'm picking my team. I think you got 5 players into your team. It would rate you and say, here's the percentage of chance you have at playoffs, and it would give you 3 levels. No management, middle management of your season, and great management. So then I could say, all right, if I'm going to be picking at this spot, here's who should be available. And I could plug that person in or those people. But again, I just like got too far into the weeds. I was like, this is not fun anymore. So
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Just thought I'd ask.
All right.
It's good stuff though. I mean, it's fun, but it's so frustrating.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like there's just, what we're all saying is just there's so much weirdness going on this year. It's just bizarre, right? With people getting hurt, stuff, people being out and everything. To the fact that just when you should win and there's nobody out, you got nobody hurt. It's like how are you not scoring any points? It's just completely bonkers crazy. And I haven't played fantasy in a couple of years. Just they haven't been in any leagues just from COVID, being there and anyway, weird stuff. All right. What is a show? I want one, only one. If between so from the last time that we talked all the way until now, one show that you guys have watched. It could be a movie too. It's fine. I'm particularly of shows, but one thing that you guys have watched that you would 100% recommend everybody watch. Okay, and you guys have a small more time to think because I just threw this at you. Mine is I have Paramount Plus. You don't need to have it. You can just have straight an antenna. On CBS, there's a show called Ghosts. We recently stumbled across it, and it's in its 2nd season, right? Like, I love things that are, like, lighthearted, funny, not just make you feel good. Something, it reminds me of, like, Office, like, something that you can have in the background, that's just going on. There's like Heather Grindhouse says, it's amazing, it's so good. I 100% gotta see it, gotta watch it. No matter what platform you're gonna watch it on, I recommend go watch it. It makes you feel good, and we're mad that we're out of binging and now we have to watch it every single week.
Yeah, I agree. I think I finished the 1st season because they just came out with a 2nd one, right? Or not just, but I think there's 2 seasons. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's in the 2nd season. This is week 4.
Oh, okay. So I think I finished the first season of that, and it has such a good like concept to it, like so original. And if it's done well, they could take this a long ways, I feel like. So
Yeah.
I haven't fully dove into it, dived into it, whatever you want to say, but I agree. Good show.
Yep. And so if anybody hasn't seen it, the premise is this couple inherits
Inherits.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
Inherits.
Inherits. They have hairy armpits on this
saying
house.
Pam or Pan?
I'm here. I'm here to help with this whole Pam thing. They inherit a home from a long lost relative, and shortly into the going there to get it, they decide that they're gonna make it a bed and breakfast. She falls down the stairs,
Mm.
goes into a coma for like a week or so. Anyway, she wakes up, she can see dead people. So
Okay.
and the ghosts are hilarious. Hilarious. There's like an old Viking, there's a colonial
Yes.
guy, there's an old troop master from like Boy Scouts, and it is
Yeah.
each one of them plays it to a T.
And let's just call out these
Perfectly.
guys are not like they're not ghosts, right? They're
Yeah.
ghosts, but they're not like your
actual-
traditional. I know it's Halloween, right? It's not a ghost behind Andy.
Yeah.
These are like real people once they switch that camera to like the opposite side of that world. So
That's awesome.
it's not haunted. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a comedy. So
Yeah,
I think a lot of
they're-
people would like it.
Yeah, there's a business broker guy who doesn't have pants because however you died, that's how you show.
That's it.
So
Yes.
the Boy Scout guy, the troop leader has an arrow through his neck.
Yes.
So he's got arrow through his neck, but he's always chipper, always the positive guy. The Viking guy is exactly as you would think. Then the business guy that doesn't have pants is just like freaking great. Go watch it. All right, Andy, how about you? What's one thing you want to recommend that you've watched in this year?
I can't do one, so I'm gonna just do what I want.
I'm just
Along
gonna
the
do what I
line,
want.
yeah, I don't care. Along the line of what you're saying, I started watching Los Spookies, and it's on HBO, and it's all in Spanish, and it's the most ridiculous thing ever. But it's kind of like that same premise of like this paranormal thing, and you just gotta watch it.
It's all in Spanish.
It's all in Spanish, so there's all subtitles. That's why it's called Los Spookies. Okay, so I watched The Terminal List. It was freaking amazing. I guess it was like based on a true story, but it was on Prime. Chris Pratt.
Yeah, and so I got into like prepper stuff a little while ago, and one of the things in the prepper world is being a gray man. And there was actually, I think it's on Prime or something. There's like a gray man
movie
show, but everybody was like, "No, go watch the one that you just mentioned, The Terminal List. It's way better."
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So currently I'm watching a movie called The Patient, or a show called The Patient with Steve Carell, and it's on Hulu. Phenomenal. He's a therapist, and I'll just leave it at that. And he helps this dude, and it's not what he was expecting, but it's fantastic. And it's always weird to watch Steve Carell in something that's serious, so it's not goofy and dumb like obviously The Office or whatever the movie was where they bring the weirdos to dinner.
Or the space movie or
Space
show.
Force. The Patient is really good. Is really, really good. So
all right. So I'm liking it. What about you, Ryan? I know you know.
I'm gonna go.
Came along with the ghost one, but you got to give a different one if that was your one.
Oh, definitely not, because I'm falling behind on that one. Okay. I'm gonna go a different route here, and not that I've been watching it, but this is what came to my mind because this shit is crazy, and you probably won't even guess it. This is a reality TV show that I'll watch, and I'll give you a hint. I watch it with Corey.
The Love Boat. Whenever
it's on.
Bachelor.
But these Bachelor shows are insane. Dude, if you ever go to the Bachelor, Bachelorette, the rest of your life is just fucked up. That's what it is.
I bet.
And so I don't get into it. Well, I guess I kind of do, but I'm not addicted to it. I don't watch every episode, but when it's on and like Corey's watching it, I'm always like, I'll turn around and be like, what just happened? Oh, did she not do that? What just happened? And they do a great job of like building suspense and like giving you previews as to what's going to happen in the show, but then like not giving it all away. Insane. So it's just a show. If you haven't gotten into it, you'll get addicted quick.
It's a guilty pleasure thing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And again, I'm not like watching it, binge watching it or anything like that. But when it's on, Corey, I'm just like, I say I'm not watching it. I'm watching it.
I love reality shows that are just train wrecks like that. You know, our guilty pleasure is like those I don't know you, but I'm gonna get married to you type of shows. I think one we've watched is Love is Blind. 90 Day Fiance is just a train wreck. Because in my mind, I'm like, who goes on these shows? Why do you do that? It's just nonsense. But I can understand the guilty pleasure on those.
Yeah, but if I had to name another one, which I'm upset about, maybe somebody else can help me out. I was watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I'm trying to get through it and finish it. It's no longer on Hulu. You have to pay for that.
Oh, dumb.
I don't know what happened to that. All of a sudden, every episode is locked, like midway through the entire show. And I'm just like, this is stupid. So now I have no way to watch it unless I
love that show.
Do it illegally.
That show was great. It got stupid in the last couple seasons. I quit, but it was a great show.
Not even there yet. Can't get to it because Hulu decided to F Ryan Teeter.
So,
yep. No, just take it. Just take
it. You got double penetrated by Disney.
Ooh.
And a storm.
Twice.
Wink, wink.
Twice. Got it.
Twice. So if anybody knows a roofer, hit me up.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. For people that are watching live, know that I'm doing a massive pause here because I'm literally going to cut. That's an episode. As we keep going. All right. Let me ask you a question, right? Ryan, you posed this question in the Discord, right? Mm-hmm. And I like it because I'm mildly there with you on this. When should you get rid of a car that's paid off but requires a bunch of maintenance? Right?
Maybe not even a bunch of maintenance, but maintenance.
It's just now getting into the point where it's not just brakes and tires, right? Like you're talking, because everything has gone drastically up, right? Like the two front tires on my truck are almost $1,000 at this point. It's like ridiculous. So Andy, where are you at in the car realm of keeping vehicles past the 30-day policy? Because I feel like you're kind of a revolving door.
Yeah, I'm not a good one on this because I've had my Jeep now for a little over a year and I want to get rid of it and go buy something else. So listen, I guess
let's go back. How long did you have the last car?
I had my Golf for maybe like 2.5 years.
Okay, let's keep going back. Let's go back to the next one.
I had my Jeep Wrangler and I only had to get rid of it because of the work situation. But otherwise, I would have still had that if our work situation would have been different. But prior to that,
how long did you have that?
2 years. So I'm like I should start leasing vehicles.
Good thing it's not like a wife situation or a girlfriend situation.
No,
because you can't keep a car to save your life.
Now I had a paid off vehicle for probably like a couple years. I'd say 2 or 3. There was nothing wrong with it. I didn't like it. So, but if I had to draw the line in my threshold, I'd say anything that's over like $3,000. Bye.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ryan, why did you pose this question? Are you starting to have to dump money into your Beamer, or you're
you're always dumping money in a paid off car?
Yeah.
There's no way around it.
Yep.
$1,000 here, $1,000 there.
It's usually less than your payments have been all the way up to that point, so
for sure. So the big one, and this is probably the biggest since I've like had a scare where I went to the BMW shop and I paid them to do an inspection on my car just to tell me everything that was wrong with it. They came back with like $6,000 or something like that. Now, of course, that's a dealership, right?
Yeah.
This was a long time ago, back when I was still working in the office. So 3 years ago. But now another expense came up where it was like, if I wanted to do all of it, it was going to be like $4,000. Now I went to my buddies over at Elite Beamer, so appreciate them. Shout out to them. And they gave it to me for 29, everything.
Okay.
And I'm doing it. So, you know, and it is a lot of money, but it's like stuff that's leaking. So on the bottom of my car, for people who don't know about cars or for people who may know about cars, the simplest way to look at it is the whole pan or plastic piece at the bottom of my car is just oiled up. It's just leaking. There's multiple spots where it could leak. So I'm replacing both of those gaskets, control arms, spark plugs, flushes for coolants and brakes, doing a lot of just, I think this is all just general maintenance. Honestly, control arms are eventually going to go bad. Oil pan gasket eventually going to go bad. Valve cover gasket, haven't ever replaced that. So replacing that, and then general maintenance as far as like coolant flush, brake flush, spark plugs. Can't remember anything else, but yeah, 2,900, little steep, but it's like, I don't know. This is my first paid off car. I don't know like when that threshold is to get another car, because I'm going to go spend, well, I could spend 12 to 15, but I know I'm going to go spend 20 because I like driving cars. I like, if I drive it, I'm going to like driving it.
Yeah. And it's usually based around, you know, how long until the next time you're going to have to do something. That's I usually leave out like tires and oil change, right? Like that's just that you're gonna have that with anything, right? Unless you're Andy and you like literally it's 62 days until you decide that, you know, my
there's dust. Get rid of this.
He starts thinking about the next move the day after he gets the car.
The moment that he sat in the chair long enough to leave cheek prints, that's when he's like,
I get what you're saying though, Ryan. You know, this is years apart. Yeah, I'm spending money outside of oil changes and tires. Yeah, so that's why I'm like, I'll still dump money into this thing.
Yeah.
Now, next 6 months, 4 months, I start having to put $1,000. Yeah, man, it's probably time. But $2,900, fix all this stuff. I think I'm still good to keep the car. I think I should.
Yeah. Like right when Byron was born, I had Chevy motors. They always have lifter issues and cause some problems in the one side, so I ended up having to spend like $4,000 replace the oil pump, the one side of the engine, have it refreshed and things. Now the other side needs done, but we're digressing. But totally would agree with you, right? And I agree with like everything that you said, minus the one I talked to my dad about this the one day because he's a former mechanic. I'm like, dude,
what's this one?
The horse shit one that I never understand in this day and age is the brake fluid thing. Like literally every time I go with any vehicle that I go, everybody's like, "Oh, you should really get the brake fluid flush." I'm like, ain't nobody ever actually. That's like saying, there's a scuff mark on these Pumas. I ain't wearing that shit. I ain't wearing that. They can't fit on my feet because they that's scuff. Whoa!
If you but here's the other side. If you put a liquid to help something, you eventually have to change that liquid. You're not just going to leave it in there for forever.
I could show you many people that have pulled vehicles out of the middle of freaking fields and everything after sitting there for like 40 years. And all they do is like top that bitch up and decide that, okay, this is a pedal move. Great. The pedal move is it's about whether there's fluid in it. Now, if it's like rusty, that's gonna, you know, cause an issue and cause more than just the fluid being it. You're gonna blow out a line. You're gonna do something else, right? Like in theory, it should never get that dirty. But Roger's like, the '79 Bronco has original fluid. I'm gonna call bullshit on that statement, Roger, because we had to replace the master cylinder to move it. So, however, we moved it in 2019. So it went from, you know, that's 50 years, you know, and we didn't have to flush it. The master cylinder locked up.
Yeah. Anyway. And it makes me feel better because Corey was like, just get it done. Right. When you buy a new house, you don't necessarily have a mortgage payment right away. Guess what? It's coming up. So I was like, get it done now. Right. So perfect timing. Thanks for the comments because it makes me feel a little bit better to drop it and get it done.
Yep. And I'm literally right in the same boat because like I literally just took the truck in to have an oil change and stuff, and it needs valve cover gaskets and belts and this and that. And I'm like, all right, fine, I'll go do it though, because like those two things aren't that hard. Your car would be such a pain in the butt to do those things.
Yeah, I've already YouTubed it.
Truck.
It's not. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. The truck, literally, the belt is like one bolt. And you know, pull the tensioner back, flip it off, put it back on. The valve covers are right there. You can see it all. So
this is why I love these guys at Elite Beamer too, because the other shop that I took it to, they measured my front brakes and they're like at 2 millimeters, which is probably like a no-go in anybody's mind. But the guy goes, at Elite Beamers, you're gonna have to get new rotors anyways. So ride that shit till it dies. Ride it till it squeaks. Ride it till you can't press on the brakes no more. Like, get your money's worth out of this thing.
That's a little far. When you hear, squeaking's fine. You hear the first grind, that's when you take it.
He's a good dude. He's realistic. And so that was another thing that I was going to get done. Along new motor mounts. He's giving me new motor mounts along with the control arm bushings. So that's basically for free.
That's where you drive the car out to the desert and wait 2 days and call it in stolen.
Yeah, Roger just says, or you could just crash the car and get the insurance money. Apparently,
just leave it on the side of the road and hope somebody swipes by.
Yeah, there's a what's the statute of limitations on an event that could be or shouldn't be an insurance fraud?
Everything's insurance fraud.
Yeah, well,
the insurance is fraud.
Like my dad was in a truck club way back in the day, and they always used to go on like rock quarries and everything else, and there may or may not have been this guy just come out there. We don't know who he was. First off, I don't know. It was just a random dude that was there. Just come out and like they're all drinking, throwing beer cans in the back of the truck, brand new Silverado, doing going up the hills and around. He goes to do a donut in the gravel and it hooks and rolls the thing. Somehow it ended up at a field and claimed his insurance that was stolen. So I mean, I couldn't tell you who the guy was. We have to track it down. But that may or may not be a story. So anyway,
the next documentary on Netflix.
Yes. Another documentary could just be like strange questions, because Ryan always likes asking strange questions, right? Yes. Is lasagna just lasagna flavored cake?
Strange question number one.
Yes. I mean, I feel like it is.
Andy, you can answer that.
Sure. I don't know.
Quick answer. I don't like lasagna. I hate red sauce.
Yeah. Lasagna is meh.
Okay. Depends upon whose lasagna. I think that's first and foremost. It's like people's eggs, right? Here's why I'm so adamant. If you were ever over at my house in the morning, like why I am the one that's gonna make the eggs if we're gonna make eggs. Ryan's okay because I've had his eggs before. But growing up, I was in like apartment complexes and stuff, had friends, we'd like be over at friends, stay over really easy when you're living in an apartment complex. Like not a single one of them could make eggs, like, right? Like they would just like big cast iron pan just there, just cooking away until it's like crispy, crunchy, like you want your bacon, and it's just like I can't stand it. So what I'm trying to say is it really depends upon who's making said lasagna. I think I would have to agree with you or not.
I like the lasagna that's filled with cheese, with like it's not like just cheddar cheese, right?
Ricotta.
It's like thank you. It's like ricotta. That stuff is amazing because then you can control, from my aspect, how much red sauce goes on that. Then I could answer the question, and I could argue that it is cake, like you're saying, because you layer that up and you layer it up. So I could say that it's cake. It's a different kind of cake. Because cake could be labeled, you could make a lasagna cake.
True.
You could make a lasagna cake, and it will be called cake by definition, right? So why can't lasagna be cake?
Yeah, fair.
What is the definition of cake?
Cake,
sponge-like material.
I don't know.
Layers?
You can make a cake look like lasagna, and you can make lasagna look like a cake. Oh,
speaking of which, in the last 6 to 8 months. Did either of you watch the Netflix amazing show called Is It Cake?
Yes.
Yeah?
I started to, and I got bored, and I was like, all right, I'm out.
Oh, you got to get first off, skip the first 3 episodes. Just jump into episode 4 and watch it because the contestants finally understand also what the shtick is, right? And the shtick is you have to make a cake that looks like these inanimate objects, and literally has to actually be decent cake as well. And you get literally, like I said, start watching it episode 4 moving forward, and it's actually freaking awesome, right? It gets much better than
I've seen commercials for it. I've never actually seen the show, but like you said, they're making a cake look like a Solo cup or some
yeah, that's one of them.
Stuff.
Yep. Yeah, there's a bowling ball. There's man, they go through they keep getting better, and then there's judges that have to figure it out, but they only give them 15 seconds.
Oh, the judges figure it out? I thought the show was just the contestants have to guess.
No, they make it.
Yeah, so they make it, right? And each contestant has a different item they make. So each let's say the Solo cups, right? It wasn't just one Solo cup. You had to make stacked ones, so it was harder to do each rim and then one anyway.
Okay.
We're around a whole bunch of other objects. They weren't just all Solo cups. So it's just one person's cake amongst a whole bunch of other things that aren't cake. And then these judges come out and they're just random ass people. And they have to guess it, but they're standing 20 feet back and they only have 15 seconds to figure it out. Again, one of those stupid things that mindless, you want to put something on in the background, while you're sitting there playing something on your phone or whatever. Great
but
show.
Is it actual cake makers making this stuff, or do they end up making some really shitty cakes sometimes?
Most of them are decent.
Sometimes it's hard to tell is what you're saying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. From the angle that they show it and stuff and look at it, because they what each person's doing, and you can almost guess by the way it looks. But then when they put it with the other items, you're I don't know which one is and which one's not. Because they'll be one of them was suitcase, right? An old leathery suitcase. It's almost in Harry Potter or something like that, right? I could not tell. I was all right, I'm watching this guy make this, so I'm watching the symbols he's painting on it and different things. I'm okay, I'm gonna look for that when they pop them up. There were other actual ones that had that true symbol on it. I was wow, can't fucking get it was just great. Anyway, greatness. All right, dumbest thing you've ever learned in school, but you still remember for some reason. Right? One of mine is the stupid prepositions, right? Aboard, about, above, across, after, against, along, among, around,
what is
to, as for, as to.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is a proposition?
Prepositional phrase. Prepositions, and then there's actually prepositional phrases. And don't ask me, because I had the worst education possible for knowing what English is. I don't know how I got better grades in Spanish than I did English. So not the person to ask what prepositional phrases are actually for. I get confused with verbs and adjectives and nouns. So again, but I remember those to this day. We go down to the fair and there's a whole thing. There's a whole shtick with it. And
wow.
Why do you remember that? Right? Not really something stupid. You could also say stop, drop, and roll. Still haven't been ever on. That's not true. I've been on.
I literally looked up the definition and I'm still confused. Because the definition uses proposition in the fucking definition. Hashtag school. That's what you learn.
Yes, school. Yeah. All right. Andy, what about you?
I don't know, man. I mean, we were talking about this earlier, and I think, the math component of anything above algebra, silly. I don't know. Let's go with math. Advanced math.
Yeah, and I'm gonna second just the math in general, because all those fancy calculators that do a bunch of fancy stuff,
right?
They do it for you. Just get a calculator. Why do I need to learn everything? Because once you get into, I'm sure somebody could argue with us and name something where you actually need to know a little bit more than that.
No.
But you have Excel, you have Google, you have massive T90 100,000X calculators. You have any resource available to you to figure out the math, and it's going to be 100% right every time, as long as you entered the phrase or the it in properly. That's the biggest thing. Learn how to put it together. Done.
My daughter is a freshman, my oldest daughter, and so she's doing algebra.
Perfect. And I love algebra.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. But some of the fractions and some of the stuff like pre-algebra, whatever, it's, I'm just like, I don't remember this. Figure it out. But nowadays with their phones, they have photo math. You take a photo of the equation and it just solves it for you. You don't even have to think about it, because when are you ever going to use any of that? I'm not trying to divide 7/12 over 16/90 seconds. I don't care. I'm not doing any of that. But
well, did you make the denominator the same before you started?
I don't care. Whatever the thing tells me to do is what I do. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm not doing that.
If we want to stick with math, there was a whole year, at least in the school system that I was, that because they didn't want to teach you, decimal points or fractions yet, right? That we went into remainders. So there was like, 6 divided by 4 equals this plus a remainder of 7. You couldn't have just told me .7. Like, why do we have to say remainder 7? Like,
I remember doing that. The little R and then the number.
Yes. Yeah. Like, this is the leftover. Okay, great. What a waste. Like, you're too stupid to understand this. Well, yeah, but you got to teach me the R, and which actually doesn't mean anything.
And this might be, I'm not gonna say this is controversial, but it could be. We learn. I know you guys are both history buffs, right?
Sure.
Are you trying to tell me that I am? Because I don't feel like I am, but okay.
Well, so,
we
this is. You want to hear my dumb comment? You want to hear my dumb comment after that?
Out. Were you just trying to say that we're channel? You're just trying to say that we're both older? We've been around for an additional 15 years.
No, Andy likes history, don't you, Andy?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, one of you do. I feel like history could be in that category of dumb shit you learn in school.
Mm-hmm.
I would say,
I don't remember anything that I learned historically. Now, the big stuff, I think you should know about a lot of the big stuff, but all that minor stuff with names and who did what and exploration, if you're not taking that into a degree, if you're not taking that outside and being some historian, history is good to know, but not everything, not a lot of things.
Yeah, and I would say the devil's advocate to that would be, if you don't know history, you're doomed to repeat it. The problem is that you actually need to be able to taught the actual reasons why these events happen. Instead, we're taught this thing happened, the Civil War happened, and here's how we got out of it. It's like, but how do we get into it? I don't remember. I should probably go back and actually educate myself on it, because that's probably something that's more relevant than anything else, right? Like, of everything else that happened, how did we get into that point?
I'm definitely not saying history should not be known.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I agree with you with what we were taught and how we were taught.
Yeah,
doesn't meet the reason on why everybody said that this is why you should know it.
Yeah,
right. So I'm agreeing. Yep, just from a different angle. All right. So what about what was the other one that I said earlier before we went live?
You don't write this shit down?
No, I didn't. I had it up on my screen.
I think it's funny. Okay, let's ask another question. Ryan's asking this question. How come Ryan's the only person that bleeps himself out?
Ryan's the only one that has a bleeper.
Yeah, and I don't do it every time.
You don't. You did that, and it took me all the way back to when we did the podcast, 340 days ago, as Ryan states, even though it's way less than that. Took me back to those days. And I didn't know why he was bleeping himself then, and I don't know why he's bleeping himself now. His son's in bed. It's past time. This is an adult's, I mark too, but
I mark every single thing that is explicit that it gets posted on.
Right.
Yeah. So mature audiences. I don't know. I guess it's because I paid for this thing, so I feel like I need to at least use it every once in a while.
There you go. I mean, it's cool to see, right? And it's funny too, because I can see your hand every single time, and sometimes you have to think about where you're going. And
wait, which button? If I pointed the camera down, and you saw the number of buttons on this thing, then you would know. The bad part is The mute button's right below it. So if I hit the wrong one, you don't hear anything I say. Anyway. The one that I was going to say. Okay. As a musician, I was a percussionist, right? So that's very loosely using the word musician, right? Like gung ho for music. Glad that I got into it where I did. Learned it with the teachers and stuff that I had and everything, and had a great time with it. I would not include any of that prior to middle school, but yet every single one of us had to learn playing hot cross buns on the recorder, and it was the most terrible thing I've ever done in my entire life. I think to my parents, psychological warfare right there. Like why does anybody do that to people? Like, you guys remember learning that?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was not hot cross buns, but okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, let me tell you, it's even worse when you have to go. Your child's doing it, and then you got to go to their concert and sit there for an hour in this terrible sound. And I'm just like, I don't care if you fail this class, you're never going to use this in your life. It's ever.
Yeah, never ever. Yeah, it's just not. That's just not how it works.
No,
you know,
I'm gonna.
You know what? I think I know. I think I know why Ryan didn't know the song. It's because this was him. You know, this is a actual video of him playing it with 2 recorders, 1 in each nostril. That's why you didn't.
I did have a blue and a tan one, or a white one.
And I guarantee you that kid's playing the John Cena song too.
Dude, if he really was like, I would be impressed. Like, at least he learned something. Something useful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's, at least everybody's getting a kick out of it. All right. Also, why do I always ask the questions? Why can't you guys come up with a question and ask it?
That's why I asked you a question. Why you keep using the bleep button?
That's true. That's true. You did ask that one.
Yeah, I said I'm coming up with questions now. Look at me. I'm the captain of this ship now.
All right. Last thing I want to talk about today, right? And that is, I don't think we ever talked about this, right? But I feel that it's good, right? It's a conspiracy theory, right?
Yes.
Okay. Andy loves a good conspiracy theory. Okay. What if, follow me, because we're going to get deep here for a second.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
What if aging is a disease found in the air, making Earth the quarantined planet? This is why aliens don't visit our planet.
Holy cow. Wow.
So,
okay, and if anybody wants to follow this crazy ass conspiracy theory, you can Google immortal animals and where they are all found.
That does not seem to follow. Go ahead.
Let me add to that. Dinosaurs. Sure, why not? Dinosaurs were these giant animals. And from what we've been taught, dinosaurs didn't have giant nostrils that were like the size of car tires. Dinosaurs had small little nostrils like horses. So how is it that a giant animal of that size breathed the same as a horse that was 10 times less than that? Like, how did that work? That seems odd.
Yep.
What?
Okay, so explain it one more time for the slow guy.
Okay. Take the biggest
T-Rex.
dinosaur you could think of. Sure.
Yeah.
So the T-Rex, you've seen
had
the skull.
horse nostrils, horse-sized nostrils.
Exactly, right?
I followed what you're saying. I'm just like, I need to process it.
Yeah, okay.
So you're saying,
how did they breathe being that big with such small nostrils relative to the size of their body? So was the air and the oxygen different? I mean, sure, probably, right? There's probably zero or way less pollutants. But how are they able to survive and breathe on a regular day basis with such small nostrils relative to the size of their body?
Yeah,
well, if you take a T-Rex, for example, that's probably why his arms were so short, because he didn't have enough oxygen as a child, right? None of them do. So their body isn't full grown. They should have been just an alligator, honestly. That's what they should have been.
Sure.
But because they didn't have enough oxygen in their nostrils, their arms didn't grow as a kid, and then they were stuck. So I already answered that question. Next. I'm totally kidding. That just totally came out of my ass right there.
I mean, I felt like it was good though. I mean,
Didn't it though?
yeah,
That
you were
was
like, well, they
great.
weren't. They had, imperfections. They were born with, issues.
How you spell nostrils?
Okay. All right. The reason why, Ryan, the how I ended that, where here, I'm gonna read the question again. What if aging is a disease found in the air, making Earth a quarantined planet? Right. This is why aliens don't visit the planet. It's just a funny thing that I added onto it. Okay. But think of it: a disease, aging is in the air. Right.
Are you talking humans aging or like trees,
anything,
and plants, and buildings,
anything
grass?
that's in it? The reason why I said the second part,
buildings.
if you Google immortal animals on Google, meaning basically things that can live forever, there are 7 of them. Right. One of them is a backwards aging jellyfish, so he's a little Benji Button. Okay, basically lives forever. It's in the water.
Benji Button. Okay.
Little Benji Button. Okay. The ever-growing lobster. It's in the water, not in the air. Sea turtles. In the water, not in the air. Now they can come up, right? But majority of their life is spent in the water.
Things die. They have like 100-year lifespan.
Nope. Not this version of turtle. Yes, there are sea turtles that do die. Yes, there's also fish that do die. There's everything that does die. Right. There's a regenerating flatworm. It's in the ocean. Right. Tough whale. That they live for all longer than 70 plus years. Right. Radiation resistant bacteria lives in the water. Okay. And then this thing that looks like a floaty bunghole. And I and if we watched like
this rated R,
if you watch Star Trek Discovery, it's literally the tardigrade from all the spore drive thing. So there's that.
You had me at the controversial saying. Then you showed me all of this, and I'm like, nope, not following.
Not following.
None of those things live forever.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
None of those things live forever.
You're saying not a single one of these things.
Estimated to be 140 years old.
Yes.
If you put a percentage to that, the oldest people in the world, it's like a 10% higher. It lives 10% higher than the average human.
But every single one of them, the average human doesn't live to be 104 years old, right?
Yeah.
Now, outside of your crazy ass family that for some reason lives till they've at least been in 3 decades. Like I got to talking about that with your nana. It was like what are you, like 742? I don't like. I was like, at this point, like I don't understand how you're still up walking around, but you're always coherent and actually in the zone, and you probably outrun me right now.
Good genes, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Well, with that, with that, we're going to end it off. We really appreciate everybody being back, listening to us. Remember, like, subscribe, comment if you're, watching or listening to us later on a podcast, whether it's Apple or, Spotify, any of those places, please leave us a comment. So that really helps us out, or just share it. Really, really appreciate everybody joining us. Coming back for season 2 of Slightly Average Guys podcast.